which state assets was he referring to yesterday when he said work would begin soon on assessing which, if any of them, would be put up for sale?
I wasn't referring to any particular state assets, rather the policy. But, Mr Speaker, I can assure the member it won't include Telecom, State Insurance, the Tourist Hotel Corporation, New Zealand Steel, Petro Corp, Government Print or the DSC, because that member's already sold those ones.
Some people learn from experience, Mr Speaker. Why even consider selling Kiwibank when 700,000 Kiwis bank with it precisely because it is community and New Zealand owned, retaining its profits in and for New Zealand when the commercial banks, the private banks, take 2.6 million in private profits and send it overseas?
The government's given no consideration to selling Kiwibank. What I can say is the government has given consideration to putting more capital into Kiwibank, because certainly the board of Kiwibank want more capital.
If the national government is not considering selling Kiwibank, as the Prime Minister has just told us, why did Bill English raise it publicly the day after the budget and privately to the National Party conference 2 years ago?
When the Minister of Finance goes to a post-budget function, hundreds and hundreds of people turn up. They ask him questions and seek his advice because they can see from the quality of the budget the man's wisdom and knowledge. And if he gets asked a straight question, he does give a straight answer.
Mr Speaker, that was half-hearted.
Order.
Mr Speaker, why would he risk Kiwibank shares falling into the hands of overseas investors and its profits going offshore when Kiwi mums and dads already own it and benefit from its profits working for them and for New Zealand?
If the member was so opposed to the Crown owning a majority stake and thinks the government should have owned 100% stake, why didn't the member buy the rest of Air New Zealand that was on the stock exchange?
If the Prime Minister is considering selling shares, as he quaintly puts it, to mums and dads who are investors in New Zealand, how does he stop those shares being on-sold overseas, given New Zealand's obligations under GATS and CER, which requires national treatment?
Well, that's a question the government hasn't tried to answer because actually it hasn't looked at that issue yet. But maybe, just maybe, the Minister of Finance and I should come and have a chat with the Leader of the Opposition, because this is the man that sold Telecom, State Energy, the Post Office, Air New Zealand, Tourist Hotel Corporation, New Zealand Steel, Petro Corp, the Government Print Office, the DSC, the National Film Unit, Rural Banking Finance, Shipping Corp, New Zealand Liquid Fuels, Maui Gas, Syn Gas, Forest Cutting Rights, the Health Computing Service and Communicate New Zealand. If ever a man knows something about privatisation, it's this bloke.
While it's interesting to have a history lesson from 20 years ago, I point out to you, sir, that the Prime Minister made no effort to answer that question.